We're expecting a stormy day across central Indiana as this storm system comes in, stirs up the atmosphere, produces scattered clusters of heavy rain, lightning, and also some gusty winds. We could have some severe winds with gusts sometimes up to 70 miles per hour. We'll be tracking those. We think the main time window is 2 to 8 p.m. They're right in the afternoon, well into the evening. After 8 o'clock, we could still have some leftovers, but I think the severe threats will really start to wrap up. We've got a warm front coming throughout the morning. In fact, we had downpours across central Indiana throughout the morning. Hopefully a quick break, and then more storms will probably start arriving later this afternoon and evening, where we've had some breaks in the clouds. Notice you go back to a gray color, which is just the map. You have some clearing skies coming in just north of Joplin and headed into the Ozarks. It's that clearing where I think we'll push over St. Louis. Once we heat up, we'll produce a couple cells. They'll get a little bit larger in Illinois, and then they'll come at us at different clusters. I think if you took Indiana and you divided us in half, northern half, southern half, the northern half probably more the first half of that window, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. The southern half of Indiana may be more 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. So a little bit of an earlier trend for the northern half, a little bit of a later trend for the southern half. But this afternoon and evening, expect it to be unsettled. We'll have multiple rounds of scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, a lot of lightning in these cells too. Not everyone is going to get a severe storm. In fact, we're under a level 3. That means scattered severe storms. We think anywhere in the orange is in that zone that could definitely get those, but that doesn't mean every single person in this zone will get a severe storm. But we'll have several clusters. Indiana is the only state where we're completely covered by this level 3. But between 2 to 8 o'clock, that's that main time window. But it's from Richmond to Terre Haute where we've got those severe weather chances for later today. All right, so you need 3 ingredients in order to produce severe weather. Number 1, you need heat. We've got it. We're well into the 80s today. In fact, we started in the 70s. Number 2, you need the humidity, and you can feel it. It is so humid outside. In fact, the warm front coming throughout the morning is increasing the humidity just a little bit for us too. The third thing you need is a storm system to stir things up. Now, we do have one, but it is a little bit on the weaker side. It's enough to create storms, but it's also helping to prevent our storms from being too crazy overall. I mean, this front coming afterwards may drop us by about 3 degrees. I mean, it's not a very strong front. Usually this time of year, we don't get as powerful fronts as we used to throughout the rest of the spring, but we've got summer starting on Friday, and then we're definitely in a summery pattern. But 80s today, it's warm, it's humid, unsettled. We've got rain chances at any time today, but it's a little bit lower for the first half of the day. Then we pick up them throughout the afternoon and evening. But I really think for especially central Indiana, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock will be your main window. 2 to 8 is kind of the overall severe window, and then we can narrow it down really to the heart of 4, 5, 6 o'clock, right around lunchtime. We can get those clusters pushing us across central Indiana. After 8 o'clock, we still may have some scattered rain and thunder across the state, but the severe chances go down. Main thing we got to look out for will be those gusty winds. We could have some gusts up to 70 miles per hour, especially right along the leading edge of a storm. But when you have a whole storm, not every single part of it's getting the 70-mile-per-hour winds. Usually it's kind of that leading edge and kind of in the center of the storm where you have the most impact, kind of the biggest punch. On the outsides, you start to weaken just a little bit. So not everyone's going to get this, but we do have the potential up to 70 miles per hour. A lot of lightning in these cells, mainly due to hail. Now, we don't think the hail is going to be that bad here at the ground, but we think we're going to produce a lot of hail upstairs, and all those hailstones clashing together will create that lightning. It's going to be loud out there, we think. By the time the hailstones reach the ground, they'll be melting because we are in the mid and upper 80s. They may be left over down to about quarter-sized hail, maybe golf ball-sized hail in a couple spots, but really a quarter-sized hail will be the threat there. And then some flash flooding is possible for a few of us. If you get repeated clusters, and some of us can get the potential, there could be some flooding that we'll have to watch out for. But because of the wind risk, make sure you secure the outdoor patio because it is going to be windy for some of us across the state. Here's a look at Future Track 13. Let's play this out. Lunchtime, there could still be an isolated downpour too. Can't rule that completely out. But the main activities in Illinois, those storms will get stronger as they push eastbound. Here's 2 o'clock. You're starting to see those cells. Now, because it's so warm and humid, the atmosphere is going to want to throw lots of cells together. Some of them will form clusters, and you'll have clusters kind of competing with clusters. Honestly, it's going to get kind of messy, we think, throughout the afternoon. 3 o'clock, notice how there's more of a trend for the northern half because we're still working on the southern half developing. It takes us a while to get there, but then everyone's got more of those chances. 5, 6 o'clock, see those clusters coming on through. You might get really lucky and kind of get squeezed in between some clusters and not get too bad of weather, but some of us will get right at the apex of these bows and we'll be watching some gusty winds for you. 7, 8 o'clock, we'll wrap up those scattered clusters. They'll be pushing into Ohio, and then we're not done with rain completely, but we'll have some leftover showers and rumbles throughout the overnight, just kind of on and off. Just to remind you that it is still technically storm season, but I think the severe threat should be over. I think overall we'll be able to sleep okay overnight tonight. For your Thursday morning, look out. There could still be some scattered showers. We'll track them with you in the morning, but by Thursday morning, the severe threat's definitely over. All right, so let's kind of break down these threats. We've got wind risks at the highest level, wind and also lightning. We could get up to gusts of 70 miles per hour. Now, this dark blue color shows you that we have that potential, but once again, not everyone gets that. There could be a little bit of a higher wind speed farther to the south, so we'll have to watch. That's kind of wishy-washy there. We'll watch that. Hail risk on the lower side. Most of the time, the storms are going to have P to quarter-sized hail. Quarter-sized hail is technically severe, and you could even kind of crack a windshield with a quarter-sized hailstone. There could be a storm or two with golf ball-sized hail, but for the most part, we're on the lower side. For tornado risks, we're also on the lower side. Now, we've increased the chance kind of for the northern half of Indiana. The center of the storm, the low pressure itself, which has air circulating around it, so you've got rotation in the atmosphere already built in. Just because we're closer to that, we've just increased the level just a little bit farther up to the north and west. But one thing we're watching will be that lightning, and if you got events this afternoon, we could get impacted by scattered clusters of storms. We're really watching boys golf state finals. They're in Carmel, Hamilton County. That Prairie View Golf Club, they're right across the river from Conner Prairie. And we've had some downpours this morning, but I think we'll get a couple dry hours. Hopefully we can finish up play because later into the afternoon and evening, I'm not sure how long it will go, but for golf specifically, but we'll have those clusters of storms starting to approach. So we'll really have to watch that lightning because, these golf clubs, they're like lightning rods out there. So we'll watch the golf course pretty closely. And then scattered storms the rest of the evening. We'll linger some showers overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. The sun will come back out just in time for the first day of summer. That's on Friday, highs in the 80s. So once again, we were talking about how this front's not that strong. I mean, we only go down to mid-80s. We're already kind of in the mid and upper 80s. So mid-80s Thursday, we go right back up. We're in the 90s by this weekend, low and mid-90s. But look at this. The dew point will be going back up. That's the level of humidity. And when you combine temperatures in the 90s with tropical air as tropical as Tampa, Florida, we're going to talk about heat index values approaching 100. Definitely by Sunday, heat index values over 100. And that's going to last Monday into Tuesday, so 3-day stretch. Even Wednesday, not on the 7-day forecast yet, but we're kind of looking just to see how long is this going to last. But by Wednesday, we could get some showers starting to move in. Maybe we can break the heat up just a little bit. But we're going to have a pretty good stretch of some heat coming up for this first weekend of summer into the first full week of summer. In the meantime, though, scattered storms are definitely on the way for later today. Real quick, I wanted to touch on that humidity and heat. The dew point will go down just a touch, barely enough to notice. Thursday, Friday with that front, it's right back up. These are the dew points, the measure of humidity, how moist it is in the atmosphere. You feel it, how sticky it is. Look at this, heat index values for Sunday, they honestly keep going up. We're in the low 100s. 105 is what it could feel like in Indianapolis. I mean, we're talking about some serious heat coming up for Sunday, and then that'll last. Here's the 7-day forecast again. That'll last into parts of next week. But weather impact alert today due to severe storm chances, especially between 2 to 8 o'clock. Make sure you stay with us. We'll have updates throughout the day here on WTHR Plus, and we'll be watching every single storm that comes on through. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.